This is how we feel at the centralized unit where I work. I represent, in a way, the whole of UCL, because me and Lene and Lasbo and other people, we work in a centralized unit that is placed in the IT department. So we work with the teachers in all of the different education, all of the different programs, to help them use itslearning to the fullest of its potential and get the most out of it. And so we interact a lot with teachers, but we also do a lot of behind-the-scenes management and try to make everything as seamless as possible in the real world, make it easy to use. The learning experience here at UCL, it begins and ends in itslearning. We really want it to be an unavoidable part of the students' life here when they study. So that's what we try to make as enjoyable as possible. And what I'm here to tell you about today are these 5 goals that we have as an educational institution. I want to start by talking about how we manage communication here with students, with staff, and so on. I want to talk about the different modalities that are in use, video, text, and stuff, and how itslearning enables that. I want to talk about creating a flexible learning experience and connectivity and student autonomy, which is something that's very important to us, that the students know how to manage their own study lives or lives as students, like that we don't need to. I'll get back to that. And then lastly, ease of use. We want to make sure that everybody has a good experience in itslearning and that we don't get stuck on technical stupid stuff like not knowing where to click or so we wanted to I'm going to tell you what we do, or at least the feedback we have gotten about the usability of itslearning, and sort of share our experience in that regard. So that's what I'm hoping to share with you today. In terms of meaningful communication, we want to make sure that the staff, and by staff I mostly mean instructors, are able to get into contact with their students in a meaningful way, meaning that you don't put information somewhere where it's not relevant to everybody. So we've created in itslearning courses that enable us to do targeted communication that hits the target group that it's intended for and does not disturb a lot of people who it doesn't really pertain to. So we have courses to send out information to an entire campus if it's something like we're going to have a fire drill on Thursday and everybody needs to know this, so we have a sort of a common platform for that sort of thing. We have made it possible for heads of education or other administrative staff to communicate directly to their educations or programs in particular, and only the students who are enrolled in their field. And even more specifically, it's possible in the courses to communicate with just the students that are taking this exact course at this exact moment. And this is important to us so that we don't disturb or we don't provide distractions for the students, because they have a lot of information they need to absorb either way, and they're here to learn and not sort out information really. And it's nice, we talked about the app before, or Sarah mentioned that it's a really nice tool, and it is also a great tool for communicating because it allows us a direct connection. We really don't need to know where the students are at all time. We're not reliant on them being on campus for them to get information. We can send it out in one of the appropriate rooms, and it will, if they have the notifications turned on, it will just show up on their phones, and we know that we have reached them, like, no matter where they are or at what time. It works the other way too, because all the instructors are also in itslearning, so we know that the students know that they can always get into contact with their instructors if there's something that happened. Maybe they're late for class, or maybe they are experiencing some other issues, or they have questions with regards to the lessons, and they can also reach their instructors, which we feel is a meaningful ability to have. The plans that Sarah showed, they also are a nice means of communication for us, because it allows us to show the structure of an entire course, and that's nice for the students to know. They know where they're going, they know what to expect, they can see what was done in the past, they can always find their stuff. We chose as an organization to have a global template, which means that there is a fixed structure that all instructors need to follow when they develop their courses in itslearning for their students. We have these columns, and it's always the same columns, which means that the students know what to expect, and there's not a great discrepancy between one course and then maybe the next course, because we have learned from experience that that can be confusing to students. If they take one class with one instructor who structures it in one way, and then maybe when they take the next course, it would be structured differently, and then they suddenly don't know where to look for their materials and the plan. There was an organizational decision to create a global template and apply it in all of the courses, at least for the large majority of the programs. All need to fill this out in a certain way, and it provides the best experience for the students. For some instructors, it might be a bit of a hassle sometimes, but we really are nothing without the students, so we want to give them the best experience possible. And this is part of the solution. So they can always see, what are we going to discuss next time? When is class? What's the topic for this time? And then we ask our instructors to sort of unfold a little bit the thoughts behind the teaching process. What sort of learning is it that we're going to be doing here? Are we going to be doing group work? How are you expected to show up prepared? What can you do from home before you come to make sure that everybody has a good learning experience when we do come to campus? And then, of course, all the different resources and activities, which could be a PowerPoint presentation, or it could be a PDF that they have to read. It could also be a video they had to watch beforehand. But all of this is available for each of the lessons. So it all works together nicely that way. In terms of what you can put in these plans and what you can share with your students while you're communicating your either knowledge or just the plan for a semester, it is really nice that this editor in itslearning is always available, and it is a really nice and easy way for our instructors to create different modalities. So everything doesn't need to be text. You don't need any specifically, depending on, of course, your ambitions in terms of the finish on a video and like the design. You really don't need to know about video editing or sound editing or anything in order to present a video to your students. Everything is built into the editor, and that's something that we really enjoy and that we encourage our instructors to use. Of course, you can put images, but you can also record sound directly in the editor from like in the microphone on your computer. Or you can also, if you have a webcam in your computer, which most computers do have these days, you can also just record yourself, and instead of maybe explaining something in text, you can explain everything in a 2-minute video, and everything just is then put and is available to be played directly in itslearning. You don't need to send your students anywhere, so everything works together quite seamlessly. So that's nice, and there's also directly integrated other media systems. At UCL we have a video hosting platform where we do encourage our staff and instructors to put their video and sound materials. And even though it's a separate system, a separate platform, it is fully integrated in itslearning, which means that if I have stored a video in our separate video hosting service, I can just pull it straight in to itslearning and put it right there for my students to see. And that's a really nice feature. And everything is done from the editor. I don't need to go anywhere that is not itslearning. And that makes it easy to use for our instructors and staff, and also us, whoever is interested in communicating or sharing information with students, make use of these tools. So that's really nice. It's a good feature that we enjoy. We're a bit spoiled at UCL in the sense that we have a centralized team that can help out with producing videos, producing sound, editing. So if you do want to make something quite fancy, or if you find that it has enough advertisement value, or the target group is important enough that you want to invest the time and potentially money in making something really nice, then we do have a team that can help you as staff or an instructor to create a very nice video. This is a tool. This is the same tool. It's called the Page tool in itslearning, and it's the same one that they used at UCL for the most part to make all of the different content pages for the study start. And it's a really nice tool, easy to put all the information that you need in different formats. So I just wanted to show that it's a really nice place. Part of our focus is to keep them in the platform. Experience shows us that once you link them to YouTube, then suddenly they have 48 suggested videos, and they might not come back to itslearning right away. They will get distracted. So it's really nice for us that so many things are integratable, if that's a word, that you can put many things in the system and have it be played directly from there. So you don't need to send them where they might get lost. Right? So that's nice. You can really curate your experience in that way. Another thing that's important to us is creating a flexible learning experience. Itslearning enables us to do this in the sense that it has these tools. The course, the Study Start course, was built in this tool. It's called a learning path that takes you through step by step. And you need to do everything in order. There's a limited possibility of doing branching, so you can go do something and then come back to the right path. And so you can sort of lead your students through. There's tests you can do. There's the discussion forums you can create where they can interact. Or you can just create these nice pages with curated content. And what all of this allows us to do is create asynchronous activities. It allows us to, for the students to have self-paced learning experiences. They can have student interaction where we sort of would like them to. And also, which is quite nice, it allows them to have peer feedback. If you make an assignment for students in itslearning, it's possible to set it up so that all the assignments after the deadline will be randomly distributed to the students, and they will give feedback to each other rather than having the instructor giving the feedback. They can also do this in sound or video. That's also built in. If they would prefer to do a video feedback, that's also quite easy to do. So it really involves the students in a different way, and it really creates a more nuanced experience and less of a one-way situation. This is in Danish. Now you can learn the weekdays if you want. What I wanted to show you with this is that we do know for a fact that our students and staff make use of our LMS on several times during the day. Of course, there's a peak in the morning where you need to see what am I really doing today, right? But people also log in late in the evening, and they do log in on all days of the week. So that's quite interesting for us to see, and it speaks to the need to have more of the asynchronous activities. Something that's important to us is acknowledging the complexity of our students' lives. They have so much going on. Of course, they're students, but they're also people. Most of them are young, and they have a lot of stuff going on. Some of them, maybe they need to take a leave of absence because they have a baby. And in Denmark, that's not a short amount of time. If you have a baby, you're usually gone for the most part of a year, right? And that requires something of our LMS, and it's nice. It allows itslearning allows us to still provide them access to what they were doing before once they come back, and they have a way to catch up, and it's nice. Some people, they are working a lot next to their studies. Some people are really busy breaking hearts. And some people just want to go traveling also. Maybe they're gone for 3 weeks in the middle of a semester. And in that case, it's nice that they can access everything. So, but it is important for us that we can accommodate the lives of the students so that they actually feel like they can fit in their studies in their free time when it's more appropriate to their lifestyle. Which for some people is early in the morning, and for some people it's after they put their baby to bed in the evening. Then they have time to go and read or watch videos. And so we like that itslearning accommodates this option. And the instructors can structure it in a way that is clear to students anywhere in what order they need to look at things or how much time they're expected to spend on it. And so it is nicely blended in that way. In terms of ease of use, there's the instructor case and then there's the student case. In terms of our instructors, it's quite useful. It makes it easy to use. One really nice feature is the ability to copy plans or entire topics to a different course. So if I taught a course this semester and I already structured it, I built it up nicely, I put in all the resources and videos and activities and everything is good to go. I know I'm going to be teaching the same course next semester. I can copy the whole thing and it will just bring everything to the new semester. And of course, delete all the responses to assignments or whatever. It's going to be a clean slate, but structured in the same way, with the same content. So it's sort of ready to use. And that's a nice feature. It lowers the workload quite a lot. This ability to reuse something. Once you've spent a lot of time as an instructor building a course and making it make sense, it's nice that you get to use it again and don't have to start from scratch every time. So I'm going to just skip to the last one, which is the feedback we get from students. They say that itslearning is very easy to learn. It's not hard to figure out the buttons. It's intuitive to use. Students tell us that it's a reliable source for information or learning materials, right? But that really depends if the instructors put it in a place that is easy to find, if they made the good structure. We don't put that responsibility on the students. We want to make it easy for them to navigate. And so far they say that it is, but we've also gotten feedback about how annoying it is when instructors on the same education don't agree on where to put things. So it's nice to have a consensus for ease of use for the students. And they tell us that it's their one-stop access to updates pertaining to their educational journey. So what's going to happen next week, but also they're automatically updated if a class is canceled due to the integrations we're able to make with the time management system or the schedule system that we have. So everything sort of works together in a nice way. So to sum it all up, so far we have the experience that itslearning is a central part of our educational system. They do really flow in and out of itslearning and they're able to access communication and learning materials and assignments when and from where it's most convenient to them. And it really is an essential tool for us, itslearning, and it allows both of our students and our staff to focus on the main job, which is learning, right? We're not really here to put technical obstacles in front of our students or our staff. We want our instructors to be able to do their job, which is to teach and share knowledge. And we want our students to be able to do what they're meant to do, which is just absorb and develop their competencies and skills and knowledge. So that's really the main goal. And we feel that itslearning is a great support in enabling us to do this. So yeah, that's all from me.